What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel for another Infinite Magicraid video, and in this one we are talking about all of the new content that has now arrived in Infinite Magicraid. So we now have pets. Yes, we have pets. Not cute and fluffy pets, we have dragons and dogs, demon dogs, and more dragons. And a scorpion. Yes, we also have the Fire Kiln, Icefield Ghost, Bria Phantom, Spectral Jaguar, who actually looks really cool, I think. The Fierce Dragon and a Flame Hound. Okay, so pets are now in the game, and we're going to go through the majority of the content. Okay, so the pets you can see all in the gallery. If you want to look at like the statistics of these pets, you can click on these. You can have a read through, see what does what, and that kind of thing. For instance, the Bria Phantom grants all allies one layer of Bria Shield or Briar Shield of 700% of Bria Phantom's attack plus 175k. Shield value for 2 turns. If the health of an ally is below 50%, they will additionally gain 1 layer of Briar Shield with 60% on the original shield value for 2 turns. Each layer of Briar Shield increases the owner's damage distance by 10%. When an ally takes fatal damage, they'll be immune to this death. Okay, so that is pretty, you know, that's like having another Nicholas, right? In the sense of the apple, where it has Death Survive. It will grant all allies 1 layer of Briar Shield with 700% of Briar Phantom's attack plus 175. That's with Death, and that will happen for 2 turns. But like, I wouldn't imagine the shield is gonna be absolutely huge. I know it's 700% of the attack plus 175, so you're gonna need to level it up. To this, you're going to need to also have equipment on it. We'll go into equipment a bit later, but like that Death Survive to fatal damage is pretty hefty, and the shield, if it's geared up with good equipment, I imagine will be not bad. But again, it's not a damage here, it's more of a survival. The one that everyone's going to get right now is the Miasm Giant Dragon. Okay, now it's a little bit interesting. If we look at it in this perspective a moment, deals 250% of Miasm Giant Dragon's attack plus 62,500 poison damage to all enemies and inflicts Venom Calamity for 2 turns. So, when the enemy with Venom Calamity is inflicted with 1 layer of any damage over time debuff by an ally, so that could be burn, that could be health burn, that could be bleed. You know, you get the drill. It doesn't just have to be poison. It takes 200% poison damage 1 more time from the ally. This effect can be triggered up to 10 times in the duration of Venom Calamity and up to 20 times by boss. Miasm Giant Dragon gains 1 layer of Deteriorating Calamity after casting a skill each time. Up to 10 layers can be owned and cannot be removed at the wave transition. Each layer of Deteriorating Calamity increases damage triggered by Venom Calamity by 10%. So he's going to be triggering poisons, and you know, again, you're going to need it fully leveled. You're going to want equipment on it as well. Okay, it's on its own, it's not going to be huge. On its own, it's not going to be huge. Let's have a look at Fire Killing. This one is from the New Year event, right? It deals 200% of Fire Kiln's attack plus 50,000 damage to all the enemies with a 45% chance to inflict stun for 1 turn. The inflicted effect has 180% extra effect. It afterward increases Fire Kiln's damage dealt by 12% and allied heroes' crit damage dealt by 12% to the end of the battle, stackable up to 10 layers. Now, it does take a little while to build up their energy, okay? You know, it's not going to be at the beginning of battle, so don't go thinking, hey, we've got a stun here, we've got a stun. It doesn't work like that. We'll show you. Icefield Ghost deals 300% of Icefield Ghost attack plus 75,000 damage to all enemies. Removes all buffs from 2 enemies who have dealt the highest damage in total. Afterward inflicts Praying Wolves on the enemies 2 turns and extends all of their debuffs by 1 turn. Reduces shielded effect and healed effect by 50% for the enemies of Praying Wolves. Also reduces max health of all enemies excluding boss by 15%. This one is most likely going to be a PvP one. You know, in fact, it's removing buffs. We don't really need to remove buffs in PvE. So this is where this one seems to be leaning towards. I mean, potentially the Briar Phantom could be used in PvE and PvP, thanks to the death resistance or the death save with fatal damage. So that'll be interesting as well. But like the Giant Dragon, this is a PvE, and also this one here, debatable. on where this one's going to be used mostly. I mean, the stun is nice, but again, that's not going to work in PvE. I mean, it may help a little bit through PvP, but the fact is it's stackable up to 10 layers, extra 120% crit damage for allies. Okay, so like you could say, hey, Malkia is going to love that. But it's going to take a while to stack that up, all right? That's for a long duration of a battle. Malkia is a nuke team. It won't be going on that long, so we need to remember that as well. But maybe certain heroes in PvE against bosses that are going to be dealing a lot of crit damage, direct, you know, think of Jingle Bell. Jingle Bell could take huge advantage from this, for that 120% extra crit damage. So, you know, don't knock that one off either. Let's have a look at the epics. These are a bit easier, a bit more simple. Baby Soul Devouring Dragon, poison damage to all enemies. Meanwhile, randomly triggers a damage over time debuffs owned by the target for once. Up to 4 layers can be triggered. So again, this one here actually is alright because it's triggering health burn. Randomly, up to 4 layers can be triggered. It's useful. It doesn't just need to be poison. It can be any of these damage over time debuffs. And he will deal poison damage to all the enemies. The Frost Hound here, 350% Frost Hound's attack. Bleed damage to the enemy who has dealt the highest damage in total with 40% chance to inflict stun for 1 turn. These epics, I can't see them being hugely useful, okay? The Scorpion grants all allies Scorpion's protection for 2 turns, during which if they take crit damage, Venom Scorpion will grant the Scorpion shield, 200% of Venom Scorpion's attack. Shield, value on them for 2 turns. Will be removed in advance after being triggered twice. So, I mean, that one, to me, is pretty useless. It's basically a really cheap version of the Briar Phantom without the death save. Fierce Dragon, burn damage to all enemies and reduces the target's effect, hit, and effect resistance by 25% for 2 turns. This could actually be very useful for earlier accounts, especially in PvE, reducing that effect resistance and also reducing their effect hit. That could be quite large for most accounts. And then we have the Spectral Jaguar here, 50% crit rate, or extra crit rate. After landing a crit, increases Spectral Jaguar's crit damage by 30% to the end of the battle. Up to 120% crit damage can be increased. So this one, it isn't giving your allies anything. He is going to be dealing the damage. So again, you would need to have him with equipment on, and we will get into the equipment in a moment. Let's have a look at the elites quickly. Baby Flame Dragon. 2 stages of 50% of Baby Flame Dragon's attack. Burn damage each to enemies for every 1 layer of debuff owned by the target. Increases the damage by 7% up to 28%. So there's a bit of a buff in damage there. The Venom Dragon here. Damage to the enemy who has dealt the highest damage in total with extra 30% crit rate and 30% crit damage. That's just buffing his stats again. And the Flame Hound here. Just granting the allied hero with the highest attack a psychic shield. 300% of his attack. For 3 turns, cannot be stacked. So, you know, it's a welcome bringing these in. But what concerns me, okay, what concerns me about this content is these little blank spots here. What is that going to be? Are these going to be like limited time pets where they're purchased, or are we going to be able to farm all of these? And we'll get into the farming perspective of it in just a second. But if we go to our Spirit Beasts moment, we can see here I have the Miasma Giant Dragon. We've got star level, and things start getting much better. Okay, obviously with the upgrading of them, you can see here that the 120% instead of 100%, it can be triggered up to 6 times rather than 5. And if we look down the bottom here, the 5-star, I mean, look at this. 1 layer of damage over team, damage over time, a debuff. An ally takes 200% poison damage 1 more time from the ally. It's effectively triggered up to 10 times in duration. Venom Calamity, and up to 20 times by a boss. After casting a skill each time, up to 10 layers can be owned. It cannot be removed. Yep, okay. And the 10% increase doesn't change. But it is gonna make them so much stronger. Okay, if you're dealing 5 times the trigger of the poison compared to 10, then that's going to be massive, right? That is going to be huge. And not only that, they're taking 100% poison damage. And here, they're taking 200% poison damage. So it's double in both perspectives. Now, that's going to take a while to upgrade it. And I know everyone's in the same boat there. We've also got equipment. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of equipment to go around. I mean, like, for instance, when the Spirit Beast deals damage to a hero from the enemy side, the higher the target's current health percentage, the higher the damage, up to and you can upgrade these. It's just another huge power creep in the game, okay? You're going to need to be doing these. You really are. You can craft these, yes, but obviously you need, like, a lot of the shards at once. You need 50 shards for each one, and for the epics, you need 50 as well. So take that into consideration, that it's not going to be that simple. It's going to take time. Increases the crit rate here of Sorcery Orb. Now, I believe this is just for the pet. It's not for an ally, the crit rate. But some of these, for instance, say like, that was the attack. This one is sorcery, I think. Increases shield effect. Burn damage is increasing burn damage of the pet. But wait. Yeah, okay. Hello Crystal, what is this one here? After an allied hero gains shield from the Spirit of the Beast, increases the shield effect from heroes by 6 up to 24 in the next term. I need to find, 1 second. I need to go into, not that one, into this one. And I believe it was this one here. If we look at these equipment selection chests, okay. We've got bleed damage increase, poison damage increase, burn damage increase, direct damage increase. But this is just for the pet, right? This isn't going to put a debuff on the enemy, is it? That's going to increase that damage taken by. Because that would be interesting. Increases the shield effect. Got the crit rate there, but that would just be for the pet. So I guess that goes for the other ones as well. Increases attack by a certain amount as well. It was inside of these ones here. So these ones affect the allied heroes. After Spirit Beast casts a skill, increases attack by 5% plus 2250 for the allied hero with the highest attack for 1 turn. And like this one here, they get a shield and increases the shield effects from heroes by blah 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 in the next turn. The debuff Hallow, after Spirit Beast deals damage, reduces target's effect resistance by a certain amount, which is always very nice. Legend, a weakening Hallow Shard, reducing, or after the Spirit Beast casts skills on the enemy, reduces damage dealt by all heroes from the enemy side by this amount. Reduces the effect on boss to 50% of the original. I can imagine this one being pretty big against bosses, reducing the damage. The attack Sorcery Orb just boosts attack, and we've gone through these ones again. So, I think these sorcery orbs, I'm unsure if they're similar to this, where our heroes get buffed by it, or if these are putting like a debuff on the enemy to say all poison damage is going to be increased by that. So that's something that we're going to have to find out. We're going to have to find that out. We will just see, I guess, on that. Let's have a look in at the Purgatory of 7 Sins then. Let's have a look in here. So we need to wait till the end of the week, okay? I know people have been attacking already, and I'm a little bit unsure why you have been attacking already, because if we read the information here, okay, there are a total of 6 bosses in Purgatory Exploration, each with stages of multiple difficulties. Challenge progress of each boss is independent, and each difficulty has 10 stages. As adventurers can unlock the next difficulty tier after challenging 10 stages of previous difficulties successfully. But, the ultimate trial is where we're at. They can unlock the ultimate trial after completing a challenge against each boss successfully in Purgatory Exploration for once at least. Adventurers can challenge the ultimate boss once each week. The challenge requires 3 lineups, and the total damage is calculated by adding up the damage dealt by the 3 lineups. The level of corresponding ultimate trial rewards is unlocked based on the stars obtained from Purgatory Exploration. The corresponding rewards will be sent based on the total damage dealt. Now, look, this chest here, as we're getting more stars from doing the Purgatory, the beginning one, we're getting more rewards. Okay, so don't just go attacking straight away. We have a few days left. How long is left here? 2 days, 15 hours. Okay, you've got 2 days and 15 hours before you should be attacking the ultimate trial boss. You only get the 1 attempt. You want to get as many stars as you can get from the Purgatory as you can, so you can get better rewards. I mean, let's just have a look here. All right, so 5k to 20 million, 3, 2, 1. 311, 311, 211, 211, and 211. I mean, it's not a massive difference, but it's a difference. You should be waiting. Let's have a look at the top rewards. Exceeds 15 billion, which is going to be not very easy. 20, 29, 10, 21, 32, 10. And if you was at level 1 on the 6 stars, 14, 21, 10. So it's almost double, right? No, it's not. It's actually not a massive, but it is a difference, okay? It's a difference. It counts. It counts. It's a difference. So we're going to talk about these quickly. So each one here: Margarita, Finch, Hisaro. Friggin' hell. What is he called again? Mammoth, Besmok, and Mai. Now, each one has different. You can see that they're the 7 sins: envy, wrath, sloth, greed, gluttony, lust. But we go to challenge. Each boss will have a tag. This one is poison, so we will be using poison here as against it. You can say I'm using Nita, Veronica, Dakota, Magdi, and Nordak here. I can no longer use any of these heroes in the other dungeons. So I've used those there. If I go to Finch quickly, they are no longer selectable. They are locked. Okay, you can see all these locked heroes. Wait, no. I haven't used those. I haven't actually completed a stage of Nordak yet, but you can see that certain heroes are removed. Nita isn't in here. Veronica, Magdi, they're gone, okay? As so as all the other heroes that I've used on each stage. Now, you can progress. Say if I've cleared stage 20, so if I went and did stage 30, I would get all of these rewards. Okay, so you don't need to do it one by one by one by one. You'll get all of the rewards up to the stage that you clear. So bear that in mind as well. And every stage has the same rewards. They all have the same rewards. But you really do want to try and get to those points where, like, I cleared stage 15 on some of these because it had the extra dragon shards just so I could upgrade it. So try and aim it around that. And then obviously there's going to be boss guides, etc. But to get to star 40, let's just have a quick look at a battle. Let's just go to stage 21 in this a moment and go into battle. If a challenge is completed successfully, deployed heroes and spirit beasts will be limited to challenging the current boss only. You cannot use them to challenge other bosses in the Purgatory before the dungeon is refreshed. Obviously, once it's refreshed, you're free to do as you wish. And you still have like 2 days on that. So we're into battle, and it is just a one wave against the boss. Let's just cast this quickly. You can see in between our turns, we are gaining. In fact, am I blocking that? You can see that turn meter going up, right? Let me just move myself over here a second. Move myself over here. You can see that turn meter increasing. And then he is going to cast in a moment. Dakota. No, thank you. I shouldn't have triggered all of that. Okay. Ignore what I'm doing a moment. But there you go. So there's the... It's such a big effect, isn't it? I wonder if people will actually want to be turning that off at some point. Could we turn off the effect of the pet? So that's the ads killed, and then obviously we just focus on the boss. But it's turn-based, alright? So it's not like... It's just very similar to what your heroes are doing with the turn meter. And you can see the poison, or the damage coming up there. It's not a massive amount of damage, but you can see on the enemies, they do have this debuff now. When being inflicted with damage over time, debuff takes poison damage once from the inflictor. So that is all going to be adding up. And we'll see at the end what the damage is. And Margarita is causing so much poison to us. So much poison. We aren't going to win this at stage 21. Okay. Okay. So the pet itself did 583k. Now, I know that that was just a quick little glimpse to show you how it's, how it works, but it's not a huge amount. It's not a huge amount. Not yet, anyway. But once they're geared up, etc., it will be interesting to see what the pets can add to our teams. Let's have a look at Hisaro a moment. You can see the boss tag is bleed. Like, just to go through one of the boss's descriptions quickly. It attacks all enemies 150%, wound of sin, 250% attack damage to all enemies, deals 200% of the original damage instead if the target does not have a buff. Blood of Greed. If the damage taken by an ally is not bleed damage, it can only deal 1 point of damage to the ally. This is why we need to focus bleed, poison, burn, etc. teams, because they only take damage from that type. Okay, that is exactly why. So, obviously, the Blood of Greed, he can only be taking damage from bleed. Self is immune to speed down effect, has an extra 95% crit rate, and can deal extra 250% crit damage. If Self already has 10 layers of bleed, for every 1 layer of bleed inflicted on Self by heroes later, takes extra 30% attack damage from the attacker once, which is considered as bleed damage, loses 2% of max health when an ally dies. Infected Sin, the boss gains 1 layer of original sin after taking an action. If there are less than 1 ally heroes with the designated tag survive, the boss gains 5 more layers of original sin. 1 layer will be reduced for every 1 ally hero with a designated tag survives. These friggin' essays. Each layer of original sin increases the boss attack by 20%. All damage dealt the boss with 100 layers of original sin will slay the target. Currently using this team in here. Chardonnay, Hisaro, Elena, Nidrol, Grace. Team I'm using in Gluttony. And this one is Internal Injury. Is Ben Austin, Indra, Dianmu, Big Jack, Rista. These are just put together quickly last night. Like, don't go thinking these are the optimal teams. They most likely are not. I've got Hizonia, Anhi Jin, Hoth, Narade, and Nicholas in this team for Sloth. And for Wrath, we do have, this was direct damage. We have, friggin' hell, why did I just do that? How can I forget Wukong's name? Like, I was thinking some Wukong. I have Lydia, I have Jingle Bell, Beatrix, and Esther in this team. And against Mai, who is burn damage. A lot of you are going to be wanting a Grady's, okay? You're all going to be wanting a Grady's. Got Little Jack in here. Probably should have put Big Jack in his team. We've got Moloch, Andraz, Anna. And we're using Feist for that instant burn on the enemies. It was just a quick go through again. So, you know, you will need, that's why we're using all poison in this, because otherwise you're not going to be dealing damage, right? So that gives you the sort of gist to it. You must be using the heroes to deal damage that have that boss tag: poison, bleed, burn, direct damage. You get it. It's very simple in that sense. Let's have a look at what stages people are at. Difficulty 23 on Lust, 20 on Gluttony, 20 on Greed, on Sloth, 26. Yeah, okay, Mamelo, Yuhana, Adeline, Arnie Jin, Nordak, Wrath. We've got 28 and 28 and 27. So people are pushing through. We've got Jingle Bell here, Big Jack. Holy cow, you're using... Oh my God, I've even forgotten her name. Even forgotten her name, it's been that long. Nordak, Lydia, Envy. Is this Klee? Is this Klee? I don't know if that's Klee or not. Huh. Already has a 6-star. It's Klee. Yeah, it already has a 6-star Briar Phantom. Okay. Yeah. Difficulty 26. I'm not in. Difficulty 26. Andraz O'Grady's. Little Jack. Chelsea, he is using as well. The new hero. And Big Jack. So, no one's really pushed up massively yet. No one's really pushed up massively, but 20 seems to see the go-to that people are clearing. Sloth is getting cleared okay. Just showing, really, health burn is still very strong. We just don't use it anymore. Was direct damage with Jingle Bell is huge, and Envy here with Burn. Burn's doing very well as well. Ultimate Trial, 4.894 million is the most so far. Oh God. Beatrix, Little Jack, O'Grady's, Chelsea, Big Jack did 2 million. Burn pushing out the most damage so far. Look at this, Bothany and Des. I said when these two was released that they'd be great, and they have been very, very good in direct damage. You've got Jingle Bell, Lydia, Esther, And then this team here with Hengi 3, Ben Austin, Agatha, Nicholas, and Sun Wukong. What's Ahab doing? Let's have a look at Ahab quickly. Okay, so this was the strong team here with a direct damage. Jingle Bell, Big Jack, Lydia, Beatrix, Esther. But your Bothany and Des team did not do a lot. I'm surprised. there. And team 3, we had 35 million with Veronica. Oh my goodness, her name again. Does it begin with a Z? It's there. It's there. It's right there. I'll come back to it. Magdi, Dakota, Little Jack. It's there. I have her. I promise. Look. It was a Z. It was Zora. So that was Zora. So that's it really I can give you at the moment for Spirit Beast content, and the Purgatory 7 Sins pretty much covered everything that we needed to talk about. But we'll just have to see how it plays out, you know? We'll just have to see how it plays out. And my favourite beast probably is aiming towards Briar Phantom for that Death Survive and that shield. I think that's pretty, you know, I think that's pretty great. I have high potentials for fire killing as well. This crit damage increase in PvE content. It's probably going to be huge against bosses. Especially with Jingle Bell. Against, is it Sloth? I think it's Sloth. Icefield Ghost is most likely a PvP hero in my opinion. And yeah, some giant dragon. I mean, he's the first one we've been given. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that big. But I mean, obviously, if it's upgraded, it needs to be fully upgraded. That's how we need to scale these things. And with gear equipment on them. So it is early days. We just have to see how it goes. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Have a fantastic day, even wherever you are. Goodbye.